out what you had to say on it. I wanted to bring it closer. I just hold it. Because I have been in multiple situations and seen multiple situations where a lack of financial planning has caused huge amounts of grief. So I just want to say thank you so much for bringing awareness. And second, right now, outside of fumbling a little bit with the mic. Cool. Outside of fumbling. I am currently here to talk about two things. One, I want to try and help. I want to try and help us get into a different mindset for what we call therapy. Right now, like was mentioned before, therapy is something that we often see as fixing something that's broken, right? We kind of see it in that light for the most part. We see it as something is wrong with my child, something is a bit off, or my child is not behaving in the way that they expected to, whatever it is. And I'm not quite a fan of that at all. Because for the most part, therapy can be used in a way to help in patching up some of our weaknesses. It's perfectly fine. But I feel like a good way for us to try and turn it into something more positive would be having therapy simply be normalized as a special and non-special needs thing, such as something that I'm currently doing now. I'm also going to try and undo this. So something that I want us to try and get into is have therapy be a thing that's not just a special needs only thing. Like say we have classes for children on the spectrum. We have multiple things right now. We have, whether it is behavior therapy, we have all kinds of things currently going on. What if we expand that? Right now, I am working with a group of people called the 10. It's a name pending, but the entire process behind it is to have everyone, whether you're on the spectrum or not on the spectrum, benefit from, say, classes like socialization. Hey, I want to learn how to socialize in an environment that would otherwise be difficult for me. I want to learn how to improve my general vocalization because I normally am not someone who's very vocal. Things like that. Now, my issue has been that doesn't really exist in a traditional sense. We have that marginalized setup where it's we have this setup where people think about it as like, oh, this person has to go to therapy for this thing and this thing and this thing and this thing. It's has to. I want for us to have it be something that is we get to, like, hey, we're going to art class, right? We go to art class because that's a thing that we do for fun. We do that willingly. So when we go to like, hey, I'm going to classes for, say, public speaking. In my case, I would definitely need that. But or I'm going to classes to help in improving my general, my socialization skills. I'm going to classes to help with my emotional regulation, whatever else it is, right? And these things currently, as of now, do not exist in the traditional sense. I want them to be a thing that exists. So what I have as a general plan for that is, what I have as a general plan for that, and I know it seems a little rambly, is this. I would like for each of us within the audience, I'm going to randomly point to a few of you, so now you're getting a little nervous. Randomly point out, tell me something that while you were growing up, you really wish someone taught you. As a skill, it can be anything, it can be literally anything. You wish it was a skill that was taught, whether it's in schools or whether it is something you would have gone to a class for, anything at all, okay? So, can I have a few people put their hands up? And, okay, yes?
Financial plan.
Financial planning. Well, I mean, that is something that I honestly can tell you is the most crucial thing, at least for me. I wish someone taught me about taxes. Imagine, you're growing up, you get to learn, oh, this is actually what happens to your money, this is where it goes, this is how it's used. These are things that honestly should be there. Financial crime, that's a great one. Can somebody else do me something else that they also want to do? I can be anything at all. Like, hey, how do I want, like we have classes for baking, we have classes for singing, we have classes for all kinds of things. So,
Cooking.
Cooking.
Like
Oh,
basic cooking.
Yeah, basic cooking skills, basic cooking at home. We have, like, I'm sure many of us either have some struggle ourselves or know people who have gotten into a setup where, okay, you know what, I'm just going to ask you as a question. How many of you know someone who can't cook for the life of them and they essentially are struggling? Okay. Who essentially struggle with that. Yeah, these are things that we need, these are basic life skills, right? And having it be something that's part of general classes, having it be something that's just part of general fun groups. Because what I really like with what Miss Aditi was talking about earlier, in those, is she here? Oh, yeah. What you were talking about earlier, right? About having these groups with multiple neurodivergent people getting together, getting to talk about these things, being a self-advocate. I really like that as a concept, and I wish that these groups were, what do you call it? Were essentially set up. I'm sure that anyone can join for the most part, right? It's not exclusively neurodivergence. I want to know what we can do to essentially have it turn into large, open, large open classes for the most part. Like, hey, you know what, today, we're just generally going to talk about some of the struggles that we have. We have problems that are a little bit tricky for us to deal with here. Even for socialization. For me, one of my biggest mistakes in socialization was thinking that anytime someone puts their hand out, I'm supposed to shake it. So when I was a kid and I go to the bakery to buy some bread and the guy is putting his hand out and it's for money, but I didn't realize that, so I just shake it in front of everyone. And later down the line I get to realize how incredibly awful that was. But yeah, having situations where we can just plan that out, talk about it, like, hey, what do we do in a situation like this? How can we try and get this set up? How do we move through that a little bit smoother, right? How do we learn these various life skills? I want it to be set up so that we have therapy that isn't just something is wrong. Instead, yeah.
There's music therapy and there's art therapy.
Yes, that absolutely. Exactly. It's
Neurodivergence can also be a part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm saying as a general concept, right? That it isn't something that we do because we're trying to repair something that's broken. I want to have ideas from all of you actually. This is actually a request from me. All of you that can give me, yeah.
I would have loved to have life goals and career planning, coaching.
No, absolutely. I can imagine. Like, honestly, just having someone tell you that, hey, what's going on in your life, it's scary, but this is normal. People don't know this normally. You're not like you're normally expected to. But before I tangent a little bit, that was like. Essentially, yes, I want us to have that set up. Okay, and my request to all of you is to give me your ideas. Okay, your ideas. One second. For how we can try and make it and make an environment in which we are all capable of turning therapy from something that is, stigmatized is not the right word, but turning therapy from what it currently is seen as into something that is just a casual, like, hey, we're just doing this because we want to improve something, we want to have fun, we want to learn, not just we have to fix something. So I want everyone's ideas for this. You said, okay. Now, if anyone has an idea you want to shoot out, I'd love to hear it. If anyone has a question you want to shoot out, go ahead. Alright, well, that's there for the most part. And now I will just do a general awkward thing. So I'm the awkward. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, raising neurodiverse individuals for the workplace is important. My main goal is to turn it in, like, I want to know how we can try and turn it into something that, and and this is why I'm asking for help here. I want to have us turn it into something that it isn't just, hey, this is for where people with special needs go or something. It may be more beneficial for those with special needs, it may be beneficial for those with ASD, but what can we do to have it be like, hey, we just generally want to have better socialization skills, we just generally want to have better emotion regulation skills, etc. But I do like that. Any other ideas? Go ahead.
Teaching people about non-verbal communication cues.
Oh,
People
absolutely. No, that's actually a great one. Having classes simply for non-verbal communication cues, making it so that we can simply learn about body language. Honestly, I'm not even kidding. I have spent at least 400-ish hours of reading books on body language simply because I couldn't tell what in the world was going on, and I found out later down the line that's a thing. And people actually have that, like, people will tell you things without using their mouth. What is this nonsense? Can't, like, you're upset with me, can't you just tell me that? Why do you, like, what is this? How am I supposed to know? I did it. But over time, I got to slowly understand, and I imagine that's a struggle for some of you, maybe not everyone, but honestly, how many of you could use a body language class? Like, just, hey, I want to learn body language. Oh, yeah.
There are so many books and so many videos of just to understand neurotypical communication.
Yeah, it's crazy sometimes. I wish that was a thing that's more normalized. Essentially, that's it. Right. Any other ideas? But see, a lot of the ideas that you guys are shooting towards me are things that I am setting up as small classes that are open for the community. That's why I want to hear everything that you can. These are things that are available for everyone that I am getting put out. So I would love to hear any ideas you guys have. No? Alright, cool. Yeah.
To understand or maybe then you realize that therapies or these kind of therapies are not a time specific or a phase thing कि जब तक ठीक है तब तक. It's something that should be a thing that we can do even if we have to fix something.
Yeah, that's part of the issue with therapy, like the therapy concept, right? Is that we essentially see it as this thing is broke, like, oh, our car is having a problem, let's send it to the mechanic shop, it will get fixed in 3 days and then we'll get it back. Right? We see therapy very often in a similar way. Child will go to the therapist after some number of months, child will come back, everything is all fine, everything is fine. Problem is essentially in that viewpoint of therapy, how do we change it so that it's like, hey, my child's going here because they want to learn how to improve this. It's not a temporary thing. It's a thing that we do for however long we want, however long we feel is necessary. Because we're doing it because we want to improve something, not because something is broken. We're doing this because we want to have fun. So yes, I do agree. I feel like part of the reason that we see it as a temporary issue, like a temporary thing, is simply because, well, we still keep seeing it as to fix something that's broken. I want that mindset to slowly change.
The relationship of a therapist and a child who's coming to the center, if that's more not with the purpose of healing, अगर वो वैसा होगा, तो मुझे लग रहा है the child will also want to work even after.
Yes, absolutely. If you're meeting your therapist and only knowing that, okay, I'm meeting my therapist because I have to specifically manage my anger, and that's why I'm meeting this therapist. I'm meeting my therapist because I specifically have to do this. I specifically have to learn this particular skill. You don't feel as connected. You absolutely don't feel as connected. It's difficult. Like, okay, how many of you, just generally, say you have to meet your banker. How many of you guys are going to meet your banker and going to also have like you're just generally going to feel great about it. You're just generally going to be like, oh yes, I'm so excited, I'm going to be really happy. How many of you are thinking that? How many of you are thinking like, okay, this is the work I need to get done, this is the work I need to get done, this is the work I need to get done. So, we do want to change that. We definitely want that. Yeah. Someone said something. Alright. Yeah, so essentially the entire point, like the entire long ramble is all about just getting ideas from all of you. So if any of you are not comfortable telling me now and you want to come approach later, that's perfectly fine, we have some time. I want to hear everything that I can, because I am setting up multiple workshops specifically for those both on and off the spectrum. So we can kind of come together, turn this from something that we just have as a to fix instead to, hey, this is something that we find fun, this is something we can use, let's do it. That's all.